I'm live. Oh, wait, no, I'm live. Maybe I'm live. I think I'm live. I'm live. And I'm live here from my hometown, Los Angeles, not in Las Vegas. I am in a hotel. I am in a hotel, but I'm in the city of Los Angeles. Why? Because Adobe has brought Adobe MAX back to downtown LA, and I couldn't be happier. So it's like a car ride away. But it brings me home in a couple different ways. Yes, I'm in my home city of Los Angeles, but Max is also a whole lot like home for a marketer who really loves getting into like how fonts are made and what are the new tips and tricks in Photoshop and Illustrator. And when you used to come to Max, let's call it Max pre-AI years, pre-generative AI, pre-Firefly, what you got from Max were all the literal tips and tricks, right? Like you got the cheat code for how to help lasso the background, make that into a layer, how to pull that out. You got all of the pro tips on how professional designers who are just beyond amazingly creative are using the tools that you are also trying to use. And so it kind of felt like cheat week. Like you would come to Max and you would get all the cheats, all the things. In the age of AI, you're getting the announcements and you're getting to find out where the button is that removes the background that used to take you 10 hours to remove the background, pixel by painful pixel. I remember the first time I worked on an image using a stylus. Right, it was a bamboo board, if you know, and it had the pen. And I remember I was trying to remove a model who had stood too close to some bougainvillea, and her facial expression and kind of the tone of her face was everything that we wanted, but the flowers were kind of giving off this weird bounce. And in order to take those out and to replace that gap of the remove when we lassoed all the images was to then also recreate that part of her sweater. And it was a lovely cerulean blue. And there are a lot of you who are probably having that PTSD moment with me now of what it takes to take the stamp, and then you got to get the stamp. Did you get the right color? Well, when you come to Max now, you just learn that you just hit the background remove, you hit the distraction remove. They've preset common distractions that you can then say, yeah, that's the distraction that I want removed. You do that from images, you can do it from videos, you can do it in your illustrations. Like the things that you can do now with AI as part of your toolkit and with AI and with workflows as part of your brush set is astounding. It's also intimidating, I think, for a lot of folks who maybe don't understand what the process is. And so when you start to think about Adobe, it becomes really interesting when you hear people say, "Oh, they're behind in AI because, they don't have a video tool that can make deep fakes." And you're like, so I asked a couple folks on the Adobe team today about that. Of why do you think this perception can be out there with some? And the answer was brilliant. It was that those foundation models that are trying to prove they can do anything have a very different customer than Adobe does. In fact, they're pretty proud that their AI can't create a deep fake. They're pretty excited that their AI and their model, their foundation model for video creation and generation can't fake your logo. So while everyone else is saying, look what we could make the Pope do, or look what we could make Martin Luther King say, Adobe is saying, look what you can't do, because you need something that is commercially safe. You need something that's ready for your brand to put its mark on, for you to put out there as an ambassador, as part of that communication with your brand. I'm just realizing, God, I'm sweaty. I'm very shiny today. Hey, everyone. It's proof that it's live, shiny. So I think that part of the conversation that Adobe's customer is different, the expectation is different. And so the reason why they do what they do is different. Thought that was a pretty good answer. But let's get to the couple announcements. There were a lot, and I'm gonna use my phone down here as a little bit of a cheat sheet because pretty much every major creative cloud tool or suite got a little something something. Firefly, the video editor. I'm telling you guys, every single one of these things, everything that you can do, the Firefly video editor that is in Premiere. Oh my gosh, we're talking take a picture, you use that picture as reference, you prompt, turn this street scene into a sketch drawing, and then animate the sketch drawing. And it does it. Oh my gosh, it's pretty cool. You guys will be able to check it out. You can actually download the Premiere app free of charge on your iPhone. They are working on Android, so that will be there. That will be there soon. Also, Adobe really made a point from the keynote stage, and David Wanani made a point to say that it's not just about Adobe Firefly. This is about Adobe's suite of tools, Adobe's platform for creativity and engagement to be able to let you, the brand, use whatever model you want. Want to use Firefly? That's awesome. Use it. You want to use OpenAI? You want to use ChatGPT? Use it. You choose the model. You bring the model that you want to be able to use. Okay, lots of updates to Photoshop. One of the things that I really lost my mind over was the ability to actually up level resolution in an image. If you've ever had an image and you wanted to be able to really have that really crisp, sharp resolution, one piece looks like mud, but that you really want it to really look like sand, you can up level the resolution thanks to AI now. You can also harmonize things. So you can actually kind of bring everything together. But tons and tons of new features that are coming out of Photoshop that are really making it not only easier for creators to edit and turn that image into what they want it to be and how they want it to look. But it's also the ability to take hours out of some of that time. So it's really those quality of life updates and quality of life changes that are bringing you significant time back, especially on the production side of all of that ecosystem. The ability to, in Illustrator, be able to snap to, kind of you define what you want to snap to in a really quick and easy manner, or if you don't want to snap to guides. And for those of you who use Illustrator, you're going to completely understand what I mean by that. Having a free brush stroke that also then allows you to snake and weave in around a couple different vectors, also super, super cool. Anyone who has had to really focus on performance, kind of how quickly things are moving, how quickly things can move and smoothly trace around Illustrator, Adobe has really done a very, very good job of adding a whole lot of capability into that. Foundry. Let's talk about Adobe Firefly Foundry for just a moment. Okay, there's two things I want to talk about. Custom models, this is pretty much for anyone who's watching, right? Custom models for Firefly allows you, even if you're an individual creator, you're that individual artist, that designer, it's a self-service scenario where you upload your style, your art, how you create, what's that output. So if you have a very distinct style, this is how you like to create your graphics, how you like to create your illustrations, your photos, etc. You're going to take all of that, you're going to upload that into custom models, and you're going to be able to essentially, like, think of this as putting your style as the rag onto where Firefly is going to be, right? So when you want to then prompt Firefly to, create a bottle, and I want to create a bottle that has flowers on it. If you are a designer that has a very distinct style and an artist who has a distinct style of how you overlay flowers and how you overlay any of those graphics or any of those design elements, you'll be able to use that model that's been trained against, kind of have that light, that light retrieval augmentation. You'll be able to have that then pop out as your output, and it will very much look like you. So it very much in line with Adobe's goal of that safe, responsible ready to use AI generation, this is just that next step. You being able to put in your work, right? It's still copyrighted, it's still yours. It doesn't go into the model. You're not releasing your copyright. This is really making sure that creators can really focus in on what they're trying to create. That's custom models. Taking that next step up, we're talking this is like Fortune 100. This is massive enterprise kind of stuff here, okay? Is Foundry. So Firefly Foundry is quite literally the difference between custom models gives you your style and it's trained on your style. Foundry is deep, deep training. It is like literally taking a blank slate of Firefly and deep training it onto a brand's IP. So think all the brands of Disney. They're going to take all that IP and they're going to like train the heck out of Firefly. And what that means is that's their model. That's their Firefly. It's not everyone's Firefly. That's very specifically that brand's Firefly. It is a managed service. It is not inexpensive. But if you are a brand that has a massive amount of IP, that has a ton of brand-focused, brand-centric IP that needs to create that world, and that world needs to be very deeply trained on just your stuff, this is the way you do it. I have not heard of anything like this out there. It's probably one of the reasons why I'm so impressed with it, because it really takes all of the expertise that Adobe has been pouring into Firefly and pouring into these models, and now they're making it so that you can be that AI expert. Instead of you creating your own model, you're creating your own Firefly, and that's going to be far more usable, far more actionable, because what you get is Adobe's experts. You get their team of experts. You get their service team. You are part of that early advance in the research lab. So very interesting stuff there for Foundry. Overall, and listen, I'm going to wrap it up. Overall, the mood wasn't as much of a big party as Max has been. Mainly because it's 90 degrees and everyone was up until midnight watching the Dodger game last night. So I'm just going to blame some of that on unseasonably warm weather. But I also think that there's less trepidation. There's less concern. This was not a Max where everyone's like, oh, someone's coming to get my job, right? AI is coming to take away what I want to do. This is a Max where you could hear creators actively trading their tips on how they used AI to better their businesses as freelancers. In fact, I was standing and getting a coffee today, and I had 3 designers standing in front of me. And what they were talking about was, how did it improve their time? Oh, I was able to pick up another class. I was able to actually go. So one of the young women is a teacher at one of her local schools, and she could pick up another class. She could pick up more time because she wasn't spending as much time on some of the production stuff, some of the drudgery. She left that to AI, which I thought was super interesting. Another was saying, listen, I'm focusing more on my business because I can be so quick and tight with my art and with my work. I'm marketing myself more. I'm engaging on some of these tools more often. And I think that because of that, because of those conversations, people are super focused here. They're very focused on, how do I unlock more things that I didn't think I could unlock before? Because before we were just talking about unlocking, removing the background. Now we're talking about, okay, now that I can do that, where do I redeploy myself? And we're hearing that in real time here with everyone at Max. So that's day 1. There's like 2 more days coming. So I'll talk to you guys later. It's been a day.